Okay, so I just got back from Digitour, and I'm still so shaken up about what happened, but I met Sam first, and he gave me a hug and like rubbed my back, and he was like, "Hi, I love you too," and then he was like, "Group hug," and Alec and Sam hugged me really tight, and it was so sweet, and I loved it. And then I told Alec, I was like, "I love you so much," and he was like, "I love you too," and I was like, the people took the Digitour people took my letters, but they let me keep my gift bags for Sam, Danny, and Paul. So I gave Sam his, and he was like, "Oh, thank you." And then I told Alec, Crawford, and Chris that the Digitour people took my letters for them. They're like, "Oh, that's cool." And I gave Crawford a hug, and he smells so good. Oh my gosh. And he was like so sweet, and he gave like an amazing hug. Being completely honest, like he gave an amazing hug. And then Chris is so much taller than me. I'm only like 5'1", so I was like shorter than all of them. And Chris was like shrunk down, and he was still really tall. And then I forgot to get a group picture, which I'm really sad about, but my videos turned out really good. So I got a picture of, I can just screenshot. But then I went and I met Ricky, and oh my gosh, he's amazing. He was like, "Oh, I love you, girl," and I was like, "I love you too. I love your videos." And he was like, "Thank you." And then I hugged him, and I went on to Issa Twames, and he was like, I was like, "Oh my gosh, Twames, I love you so much. Your videos make me so happy. I just love you." And he was like, "Oh, thank you. I love you." And then I was like, and then he like pulled back from the hug, and then he hugged me again, and I was like, and I said, "You just make me so happy. I look up to you so much." And he was like, "Oh, thank you." And he hugged me again. And then I went to Luke. Luke was waiting for me to come and hug him. And he was like all like this and like ready. And he pulled me into the biggest hug. Oh my gosh, he gives like the best hugs ever. And he smelled amazing. And he was like, I was like, "I love you so much." And he was like, "I love you too." And my head was laying on his chest. And I could like hear the vibrations of him talking. And I was like talking to him, and I was just like, "You make me so extremely happy. I love your videos so much. I love you with all my heart." He was like, "I love you too. Thank you so much. That means so much to me." And then I hugged him, and then I got a group picture with them, which turned out really good. I'm proud of it. And then I started crying because I was up to meet Danny and Paul, and I was freaking out. I've been a fan of them since I was like, I don't even know, I was probably like 11, 12 when they first started YouTube, and they were like doing covers of songs, and I was freaking out the entire time I was waiting while my best friend was going up. And as soon as my friend got done, Danny like seen me crying, and he just came up to me. I didn't even come up to him. He came up to me and he held me, and then he like, I don't even remember. I was so fazed by meeting him, and he was just like, I was just like, "You were my favorite person," and I was like, "You're my favorite person ever." He was like, "Ever?" And I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "Even here?" And I was like crying, so I like paused for a minute to try to catch my breath, and he was like, I was like, "Of course," and he was like, "You paused for a minute," and I was like, I know, I was crying, he was like, "I'm just messing with you," and I just started laughing, and he was like hugging me so tight, and his hug is my favorite thing ever. I just felt so safe in his arms, and he was like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "Destiny," and he was like, "Oh, I love your name. It's really pretty." And I was like, "Thank you." And he was like, "Hi, I'm Danny," and I was like, "I know." And he was like, I was like, I just love you so, so much. You are just my favorite person. You're my reason to stay strong. I just love you. And he was like, I love you too. And you're so beautiful. And I just love your eyes. And I was like, oh my god. And he was like holding the back of my head and stuff. And he kept like laying his head on my shoulder and stuff and on my head. And like playing with like the back of my hair. And I was like freaking out. And he kept hugging me really tight. I went to pull away for a minute to go see Paul. And then he like hugged me even tighter because he didn't want to let go. And then we hugged for a few more seconds. And then he was like, okay, I have to let you go see Paul now. So I went to go see Paul. And I was like, I just started crying. And I didn't know what to do with myself. And I was freaking out so much. And I was just like, he was like, please don't cry, I love you. And I was like, I love you too. And in the video you can see Danny's just like looking at me like this, and it's so cute. And like Paul's head's resting on top of my head, and he's just smiling really big. And he's like, I was like, I love you so much, you just mean the world to me. And he was like, thank you, I love you too. And then I went back to Danny and I was like, you're the reason I'm 4 months and 3 days clean. And he was like, I'm so proud of you, I love you. And I was like, I know it's a long shot, but can we be texting buddies? And he was like, I would absolutely love to. But I don't have my phone with me, and they won't let me on your phone. And I was like, okay. He was like, if there was any way I would totally do it. And I was like, I wrote it in the letter I gave you in the bag. And he was like, I will try my absolute hardest, I promise. And I was like, oh my god. And then we got a group picture, and Danny kissed my cheek right here. His like lips like touched right here, and it was like, it like left a wet print. And I was like, oh my god. And he like kissed my cheek for a long time. And he just kept looking at me the entire time. And Paul looked so happy, and Danny did too. And I was so caught up in the moment. Because I just had like my whole world, that I totally forgot to see Allie in the last. And I feel so bad. And I'm just so, Allie, I'm sorry. I love you. I'm a big fan, but I was like so caught up in the moment, and I forgot. But I got my group picture and stuff with Danny and Paul, and I forgot to tell you, when I was waiting in line to get in, I met my internet best friend, Haley, and it was amazing. I love her so, so much. She is just my best friend ever, and she got along so well with my other best friend, Kaylee, that I see all the time, because she lives like 5 minutes away. And we just got so well, and everybody looked at me and Haley really weird when me and Haley met, because Haley was texting me when she was coming, and she was like, I'm here! And I was like, oh my god. And she was like in the back of the line, she couldn't find us. So I started holding up my poster looking for her, and we finally found her. I called her because she still couldn't find us. I was like, do you see the girl in the red and black flannel? And she was like, yeah. I was like, okay, go around her and you should see me holding a green poster. She's like, okay. And she see me, and she ran up to me and like through the snow and came and like bear hugged me, and it was like the cutest thing ever. And everyone was like looking at us really weird. I was like, what, you never seen no your best friends? Because it was like really special to me, because she's my first internet best friend. I was just so happy that I got the opportunity to meet her, and we hung out the entire time, and her dad was really cool, and it was just like an amazing experience, and I'm so, so grateful I got to go. The only downside was there was a big problem. Right after I met Danny and them, I was like crying the whole time I was meeting them, but I cried even more when I had to leave their arms, And I was walking up the stairs, and my grandma was following me, my best friend, and Kaylee, and my best friend Haley were walking up the stairs, and my grandma didn't see the stair, and she fell and dislocated her shoulder. So she had to be sent to the hospital. I didn't even know what happened at first. All you heard was a bang and then a scream, and the whole place got silent, which is a pretty big deal for a room full of fangirls meeting their worlds. And you just see everyone look at my mama, and I was like, oh my god, and I didn't know what to do. She dislocated her shoulder, and she was like crying. She was like, I'm so sorry. I don't want to go to the hospital. I don't want to go to the hospital. I was like, Mama, you gotta go to the hospital if something bad happened. And she was like, no, I don't want to. Well, she ended up saying, just go with Haley and her dad. You and Kaylee go with Haley and her dad, and I'll text you if I need you or something, and I'll stay up here with the nurse. We were like, are you sure? And she's like, yes, go. So I bought my shirts. I got a Paul and Danny shirt, and then I got a Digitour beanie, and she texted me, and she was like, I need you to come up here. So the nurse lady directed me, and they were in this, like, one back room, and they were like, we have to take her to the hospital. Something's wrong with her shoulder. We are going to let your dad in. We will be standing there. We'll take care of everything. But we finally just went there, and it was like, other than that, it was the best experience. The concert was so hilarious. There weren't that many performers because it was Cincinnati, so it was only like the only singer was Alec, which luckily he came because he wasn't supposed to be coming, but he gets to finish the tour now. And he was the only one that like sang, and then Sam came out and sang Boyfriend with them, and that was really cool. And they did a bunch of different like fun activities and stuff, and Paul Zimmer took off his shirt. Oh my god. And Chris and Sam took off their shirts and swapped shirts. Oh my god. But it was just amazing, and Ricky and Twames slayed, and Luke just rocked. And you didn't get to see much of Danny, which I was really disappointed in because I am the biggest Danny girl ever. I love him with everything I have, and I was just like, okay. But you seen, it was just a really cool experience, and it was just so fun. Again, the only downside was what happened to my grandma, and it is so crowded because everyone wants to be up front. So there's a lot of pushing and shoving, and I know a lot of people want to make posters. Please don't, because my poster, I worked so hard on my poster, and I didn't even get to use it. I was like awful. I was so crammed. You couldn't hold the poster up, and I was like I was like the second row, and there were like a bunch of rude fake people there that didn't even know who any of the people were, and they kept stepping on my poster, and it was like in between. I was like holding it with my legs, so I wouldn't hold, so I had something like my hand to record, and they kept stepping on it, and I tried to move it so it wouldn't get stepped on. This girl ripped it in half, and it was just a lot. It's really crowded, and you get really hot and really claustrophobic really fast, so bring lots and lots and lots of water. Like, you'll need it, like cold water. And if you're short like me and you're only like 5'1", wear taller, more comfortable shoes, because I wore my Vans, and they're like comfortable, but when you're wearing them for as long as I did, I wore them from like 6 in the morning when I was getting ready, because we had to like go somewhere to go get ready at my best friend's sister's like house, and till when you got there, we got there at 1:30.